If you own rental properties, evictions are an unfortunate risk that you will face. Today's video is intended to arm you with information about the eviction process in the state of Florida. My name is Clay Lehman, and I am the president of Resolute Property Management. Resolute Property Management has managed properties in Florida for over 10 years. In that time, we've had to perform very few evictions. In most cases, evictions are uncontested, meaning the tenant does not formally object to the eviction in court. Recently, Resolute completed an eviction on behalf of one of our owners where the tenant objected to the eviction in court. We went to court with our attorney to protect our owner's rights. I will share more information about the eviction as I walk through the steps here in the state of Florida. But first, a disclaimer. I am not an attorney. I cannot provide you with legal advice, and this is not intended to be legal advice. If you are considering evicting a tenant, it is my strong advice that you contact an attorney. Now to the eviction process. The first step in the eviction process is a 3-day notice. This is a specific notice prescribed by the court. You can get a copy of one online and complete this yourself. Make sure that you dot all your I's and cross all your T's because it is very important for the future steps in the eviction process that this is done right. At Resolute, we do this on your behalf. Whenever a tenant is late in paying their rent, we immediately post a 3-day notice at the property. This notifies the tenant that we are serious about rent collection. The next step in the process is to file the motion of default and motion for final judgment with the court. This is a filing that goes to the court to notify them that your tenant is in default and has not responded to your 3-day notice within the 3-day notice period. It's very important that you do not file for this until your 3-day notice period has expired. If you're working with Resolute and your tenant has not responded within the 3-day notice period, we will reach out to you about engaging an attorney to carry the eviction forward from here. The next step in the process is to submit a proposed final judgment to the court. The proposed final judgment should include an accounting of what you are owed by the tenant. Once this is filed, the court will issue a writ of possession to the sheriff's office. If the tenant is still in the property after 5 days and has not filed an objection with the court will issue the writ of possession to the sheriff's office. This is the legal document that awards possession back to you. At this point, the sheriff will schedule the eviction and post the writ at the home. The final step in the process is the actual eviction. The sheriff will notify you of the scheduled eviction time and date. It is important that you coordinate with the sheriff to make sure that you have the appropriate contractors with you at the time of the eviction. This will include at a minimum a locksmith to change the locks and ensure that you've resecured the home, and a contractor to help you remove the tenant's property from the home. But it's critically important that you do this in conjunction with the direction of the sheriff. You do not want to improperly dispose of the tenant's belongings. So these are the steps in the eviction process, but I have 2 warnings or things you should never do. One is never approach a tenant in default. The news is full of stories these days of confrontations between tenants and landlords over unpaid rent, maintenance of the home, things of that nature. Some of these confrontations end in violence and some even end in death. There is no home or possession, no rent, no nothing that's worth your life or your health. The second is don't complete an eviction on your own. Hiring an attorney is probably more reasonably priced than you think, and it's well worth the money spent. So back to that eviction that I told you about. Recently, we went to court after we had filed our 3-day notice. The tenant had not responded. Then when we filed our motion for default, the tenant responded and asked for a hearing in court. We went to the hearing, we were prepared, we had our documentation buttoned up, and we prevailed on behalf of our owner. That's why it's so critical to have a professional represent you. Because when we walked in there, we had everything we needed to prove that we had lived up to our side of the lease and the tenant had not. And that was why we won. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any other comments or if you want to share your experiences with evictions, feel free to use the comments below. If you'd like to learn more about working with Resolute, please give us a call at 352-414-5292. Thank you.